What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Philip Michael. Welcome to Ask Philip, aka Slidin in the DMs, aka the DM Zone, where I basically answer your DMs about anything from money, life, relationships, and anything in between. So let's get to it. Now, it's one of those things, right? Whenever we have a pivotal decision, we always start thinking about all the things that can go wrong and what can happen there. Think about the first time you maybe somebody you liked, you had to ask them out, or first time you wanted to go swim, or anything like that. You're worried about all the things that can go wrong. Am I ready? Do I have enough information? And the fact of the matter is, as with anything else in life, you just simply need to get started. Yes, you can invest in Canada. There are financial markets everywhere in the world. Now, the key thing is just start with what you have and start with where you are. If you have, let's say you have a part-time job or even a full-time job, look at how much you can start budgeting, of course. Figure out if you can start taking away $500. I'm not too familiar with the good companies up there, so I'm just going to speak from an American perspective. We have something here called index funds, S&P 500 ETFs. ETFs is publicly traded companies that all they do is invest in the top companies on the stock market, so they mirror in terms of performance what the stock market does as a whole. Therefore, they follow an index, hence index funds. Over the past 140 years, the stock market has gone up by 9-10% every single year, and not just it's compounding. You know, the returns keep going up. So that's just how it's been historically. And if you invest with a long-term thesis, meaning that you don't need to get quick gains and take the money out and blow it on something, just start thinking about your future. If you put in $500 every single month in an index fund, every single month consistently, before you know it, you have a really, really strong foundation, and then you have said foundation to go out and try risky stuff. Like, let's say you're into cannabis, not necessarily from a consumption standpoint, but from an investment standpoint. Let's say you're into cannabis, Bitcoin. You're into biotech, vaccines, who knows? But once you have that foundation, you can take, let's say, 10% of that, and you can put it into something that's higher risk and higher reward. And that's simply how you get started. It's all about the basics. You crawl, you walk, you run, then you sprint, and then you clear the finish line. And the finish line for you, hopefully, is you being financially free for the rest of your life. Do I do a class? I do events every single week. It's inside the tribe, wealthtribe.co. You can go inside there and find them. I do stuff every day on Instagram. I'm sure you see that. So there's not much more to it than that. In terms of compound interest, have you ever seen the graphic where a penny doubled a day turns over a period of 30 days? You know, at first it compounds very slowly. Let's say you double a penny. 1 penny turns into 2. 2 pennies turns into 4. Turns into 8. And nothing happens for the first 26 days. We should run up this graphic as this place. By the time you get to the 26th day, that's when the money starts getting big. Think about this. Let's say it goes to 5,000, 10,000, 20, 40, 80. You see what's happening here? That's the idea, the logic behind compound interest. Now, think about this for a second. Let's say you have $100 and a 15% return on that $100. $15 doesn't seem like much, but if you really do the math, 5 years of 15% returns, that equals doubling your money. That's simply it's just the math, it's just the logic, it's just the physics. That's just how it works. So that's the idea behind compound interest. In terms of land flipping and real estate, totally separate conversations, but in terms of that, does compound interest work with that as well? Yes, it does. It works with pretty much any asset class where you have compounded returns. So it works with the stock market. It compounds annually. Real estate, like I said, you can get those type of returns, 15%. It's very common, actually, that people double their money in these private deals. In terms of flipping, you don't really have the effect of compound interest because you're in and out quickly, so you don't have the time there to allow it to compound. Not saying there are no profits to be made there, but if we're sticking to the topic, that's what it is. So yes, it's just all about being financially literate. Keep following my stuff, seeing what we do. Watch Bold TV. Just immerse yourself into the world, and before you know it, it becomes second nature. Well, Good thing here is, if you ever watch Shark Tank, one of the things they tell you is that you must know your numbers. Good news here is you know yours. That's the good news. Secondly, what kind of business you trying to start? You don't need $5,000 necessarily to start a business unless you're trying to start something that's very cost prohibitive, and you don't need to be doing that out the gate. So I wish I had a little more context on what your actual business was. But $5,000, that's a good amount to have saved up. It shows that you have the discipline, the budget, and that you can save. I just wish I knew what kind of business that you were trying to start. That said, there are a lot of businesses you can start without actually spending a single dollar. In fact, I'm a big advocate of doing just that. Listen to me carefully now. Now, let's say you want to become a wedding photographer, and you want to see if people are willing to pay for it. Do you go out there and start a website, get a LLC, an operating agreement, start designing logos and blowing all this money before you have a customer? No. Go out there and stress test the hypothesis of whether somebody would pay you for the service that you're trying to render. For instance, this is how you can do it. You can go on Craigslist, you can go on Facebook, you can say, hey, I have a brand new wedding photography business. Here's some pictures I've taken. Hopefully, if you want to do that, you have some pictures that you can show from doing it privately. You show your pictures and you see, hey, we got a special rate for the next 48 hours. Hit me up if you want my service. Something like that, where you either reject or validate the hypothesis of this business idea. Once you have that, you see if you can get somebody to put down a deposit to book you for a wedding. Now, once that's happened, you've effectively accomplished the most important thing, which is to get dollar number one in the door. Now it's just a matter of going out there and executing and scaling, because the marketplace will tell you very, very quickly if you suck. Number one, they're not going to buy from you. Number two, they will buy from you and you'll never hear from them again. So that's what it's all about. There's a lot of business you can start and go out there and test. That's just one. Again, Craigslist, Facebook. A lot of them that you can start without actually having to do the work. Another example, let's say you want to start a clothing line. You throw something up on Twitter or, again, Facebook, and you say, hey, I have a limited edition clothing line. Let's say you have a dope design. I have a limited edition clothing line. The first 20, 50, whatever arbitrary number you can come up with that buy will get a special whatever. Just throw it out there. If people are buying, remember, you have printing on demand, so you don't actually have to store inventory or hire a bunch of designers and get a warehouse or a factory to go produce your stuff. You just put out the design. If they buy it, boom, you're in business. So just think about a business that you can start that either doesn't cost a lot of money, or you find a way to save enough money to start the business that you mentioned that I still don't know what is. Hopefully that is helpful. That's all from me. Thank you guys for sending in the questions, and thank you so much for watching Bold Business. As usual, if you want to get your DMs answered, we'll do it right here on camera. Make sure you slide into the DMs at Bold TV everywhere, or YFWTB on Instagram. Until next time, peace out.